Yada, welcome back, welcome back.
What's up, guys?
It's a brisk 88 out here.
But it feels good, though.
It feels like a 75.
Feels good.
We blessed and
Extremely blessed because I got some bug spray this time, some mosquito away, so we'll see how we fare this go around.
Yeah,
but
homemade
I'm
shit.
Optimistic. I think we're gonna do just fine.
Yes. So welcome back to Manny's Last Hope. It's conversation, baby. That's all it is. That's all it's ever gonna be for me and my guy. Catching up. It's been a week or two. See what's going on. What's new with you?
Right at 5 days.
Yep. And then really, like, we actually we started off hot earlier today. You know what I'm saying? Well, kind of. We started off lukewarm, then it got hot. So lukewarm was, we was covering some anime kill shit, getting into garments, and like literally in the middle of me explaining something, with one of the garments, it was, I guess, sitting on your spirit to speak. He had to get something off his chest about something he wanted to get a better clarity and understanding about. So we thought that it'd be really good to kind of, start off with that type of shit. Really, it was a conversation, and you can tell me your side as well, that I felt, surprising, unexpected, but it was one that most people avoid.
Yep.
It was one that you really have to really settle your spirit, and it was sitting on his to say something, and I say this to say because it was uncomfortable as fuck starting off the show. I was so confused because it literally had nothing to do with what we were initially talking about. I thought it did for a sec, but then it was like, what the fuck? And so we'll get into a little bit of the details about it, but we won't stay too long on that part, just more so on the aspect of being a man and having, time to really let that type of shit out.
Yeah, because if you don't, if you just force it down, then it'll kind of manifest itself in other ways. And it was interesting that we had that conversation because, I've got these two people that work for me, and it's a mother and a son, and she was telling me, a little bit about, her son and what he does, and how sometimes he just stuffs things down, and then he'll lash out, at her or other people, and it's like, that's not healthy, because then you can lock yourself into that behavior and then ruin some relationships in the process. So, I'm not perfect, but I usually like to have those uncomfortable conversations, because after that there is you go deeper into the, let's say, like Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah.
You just go a little bit deeper into the forest together, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you leave a breadcrumb there, and as we go deeper into the friendship, we know that we've had a situation that we can kind of go back to if we lose our way. So that like little breadcrumbs like that.
I like how you put that. We ain't no Hansel and Gretel type of cats, but
nah, we're not running
but
away.
We are taking it to the fringes, because when it
Yeah.
comes to real relationships, and we're talking about real relationships, like ones where you guys can talk about shit that's uncomfortable.
Yep.
Shit that don't necessarily feel good.
He's on a motorcycle too.
Yeah, they got a lot of those out here.
Yep.
Or shit that just really, not everything is all about, smiles and laughing and really just, all the happiest of emotions. And for this one, it wasn't our first uncomfortable conversation. That's
not by
for
any
sure.
means.
But it was a good one to have, because one, it
stemmed from a misunderstanding.
Yes.
That's the key.
Clarity. It allowed us to get a better understanding of each other. And we'll give you guys a little bit of backstory. So essentially, when we started Anime Kills, me and Dorian had a few conversations. One of those conversations, I said something that, if you take for the word values, it really sounds like some fucked up shit to say in the midst of it. So pretty much, he was wondering if he should be involved in the Anime Kills. And starting off, that was something that he brought to me that he was thinking about doing, as far as equity partner and partnership. And then he kind of peeped some of my behaviors when it comes to am I going to be flexible or movable as far as the direction of the brand, the designs, creativity,
the marketing,
things like that.
Cetera.
Yeah. And so we had conversations about it and everything, but he kind of came to the senses I might not be that flexible, and so he was kind of going to just exit because we didn't really get it going yet, right? So it was kind of
Right.
it was the literally when we talk about the stakes were low, it was the lowest they could have been at the time.
Yeah, we hadn't. I think
We didn't
I
even
think
like
at that
mark
point,
up any contract or none of that
nah. And then I think at that point, the only designs you had were your very first original designs from
shit. Yeah, the fitness shorts.
way back in the
Yeah.
day, which those aren't even
Those aren't
around.
even around right now.
Yeah, so that's
we still have the samples, but those
the
aren't
samples
something
are still
where-
here, but
we
it's just
changed
like,
direction for sure. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like,
So the stakes were dumbass low, and
Yeah.
you know, these were just one-off conversations at hookah, you know, on the phone, in person, and I said something along the lines on that phone call. You pretty much said that I put it. Well, I'll let you explain that part because you say
yeah.
better.
So I hopped on the phone. You know, I called him and I was like, hey, look, man. You know, I'm not 100% sure I want to do this, and I outlined some of the reasons that Erron just mentioned, and then Erron said, man, you know what, like. Well, what I said first was, you know, but I don't want this to affect our relationship or anything like that. And he was like, oh, no, it definitely is. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then I was just like, okay, well.
It was very.
You know, it was a misunderstanding because I thought, like, and you got to keep in mind, too, you guys know a little bit about our history. We went to high school together, good friends in high school, best friends with, you know, all of our group. Stayed in contact, went our separate ways, was still in contact, but because Erron was in Utah and then I was in California and then it flipped and I went to Oklahoma and he went to California, then, you know, like communication wasn't exact. Then he started kicking it with my older brother. So it was kind of like
A journey
I
of
know
a relationship.
What the hell,
Yeah.
I know what's going on in Aaron's life because he's kicking it with my brother. It's like, at that point, we don't need to be in super tough communication anyway. 'Cause
Exactly.
your best friends are like.
And most niggas is like that, bro.
That's
like,
how it is. It's
yeah,
like,
sometimes you
you
can
know.
pop up and see somebody even at the
Yeah.
gym, and y'all like turn into best friends. Gym, you know what I mean? It's like that with most dudes. Though.
Yeah.
It's just
I
how
mean,
it is.
and obviously most dudes know that. That's probably news to females.
Yeah, females is different.
But you know, because you know, women are just a little bit different. Your relationships are a little bit different. But yeah, so but no love lost at all. I mean,
yeah, it was still love, pretty much.
but at the onset, it was like us just kind of reconnecting and really like getting in that communication mode again, full communication
seamlessly,
daily.
bro. It was
you know what I'm saying?
seamless as fuck.
Oh yeah,
bro.
it was
almost like we didn't miss a beat.
obviously, you know.
Yeah, so-
But there was still some growth that occurred on
Yes.
his end and my end that we weren't present for. So yeah, it was just one of those things. And so I brought it up because another situation happened yesterday, and I was like, hey, look, man, I just need to get this off my chest. I noticed some inconsistencies, and so there was a little bit of a heated discussion, but I think the best part about it was, you know, despite that, during the heat of the conversation, both allowed each other space to speak, and then both allowed each other space to cut off. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause it's like,
You have to have a healthy interjection
Yeah, you
or
do.
two. And
You
I
do.
think, like, and I'm glad he brought that up because I'm known for doing it. I literally just did it just now, I think, actually.
Yeah, but I was done anyway.
Yeah, in
Yeah,
some
yeah,
cases, right? But it wasn't in a situation where we had to take it there. You know what I'm saying? We was taking it there with our volume, maybe. And most, honestly, bro, like most dudes kind of talk at a high volume.
That's
so
how
it's
it
not,
is.
So it wasn't really like, neither of us felt threatened like it was that type of conversation. We didn't know, we knew what time it was. It wasn't none of that shit. So when we're having the conversation, like I was just like, you know, because he was sitting with this, right? And I was kind of taken aback because I wasn't expecting this shit.
Right.
We were,
and see, I was
seeing
gonna
it.
wait to do it after the podcast because I was like, man, you know, I don't want to kill the vibe for the podcast because in my mind I was like, oh, we're gonna do podcast first and then come back, talk marketing for Anime Kills, and then go head up to Dirty Dough. And so I was like, man, but you know what, man, I can't hold it in.
Bro,
anymore,
it was literally, I don't know how
I
to
can't hold
explain
it
it
in
outside
anymore.
of like, this nigga was tired of thinking about it.
I was, bro.
It's the only way I could say it, because like, it was, I'm talking about this shirt, this layout, and this nigga said, hey, you know what, I need to holler at you about something too that I'm thinking it's in line with what we were already talking about. And it was, this nigga wanted to speak about something that was on his heart. And we bring this as a topic because we've done both, right? Where we haven't spoken to shit and we've done shit where we have. And to be honest with you, the release, just solely, let's say that shit went left. Just the release of that shit is just 10 times. It's like, you know, the world just dropped off your shoulders so much that you can breathe again. You know what I'm saying? And I could tell that was weighing on you because it's important that we not only like align in business, right? But friendship wise, like we want to make sure that we have a strong friendship. And
Right.
the only way we could do that is we don't have to like all the same shit. We ain't got to do all the same shit. We ain't got to wear all the same shit. But when it comes to principles, you know what I'm saying, morals, how we move and how we want to, you know, represent each other, it's very much important. And I'm finding this out at a later age, you know what I'm saying, the company you keep. And I'm all about value add, you know what I'm saying? Like I want to add value to any company that I'm around, any group, any team, any partnership, any friendship. Value is important for me. And if he, for some reason, like, you know, wasn't able to like have that conversation with, I don't think in my head I hold enough value in his life to actually work out that. Because every time you've had some issues, you're the personality, like you got to address that. And we talked about this before too. It was off camera, where you talk about you're willing to have those. Actually, no, it might have been on camera. You're willing to have those tough conversations that might, you know, sacrifice, not sac, that might, you know, with some relationships, you know, what I mean?
In the relationship,
yeah, like
but I mean, you know, if it gets to that point, like, you know,
wasn't for you.
it wasn't for you, but like you said, like you just mentioned, you know, if that person is as valuable in your life as you think they are, or he thinks they are, then it's worth having the discussion.
Equally yoked.
Yeah, you know, and
That's
so,
and that's the thing too. You got to remember too. If you're having these conversations with people and you're not equally yoked, don't expect it to end well.
oh yeah, true.
Do not expect that shit to go well.
Good point.
But expect to have it regardless, because then you'll know.
Yeah,
The biggest thing.
And I'll give you guys a perfect example, and it's the example that I gave him, is because you got to be careful how you internalize certain things, consciously or unconsciously. And I'll give you a great example. I was driving to work and somebody cut me off, and I got a little perturbed by it. I was a little upset, and instead of like working out of it, I just kind of, you know, forced it down, and then that informed my decisions and my attitudes for the rest of the day, until I caught myself, and I was like, whoa, like, you know, something else just kind of annoyed me a little bit, and I was like, I'm getting a little too annoyed at this, you know, this is like
subtle shit that would never usually
you know,
bother
I was like,
you.
wait a minute, you know, what's going on here? And then I walked it back, went through my day, and I was like, oh, that's what it stemmed from. You know, it stemmed from, you know, I didn't really deal with that the right way. And so, you know, if you're not careful, you know, some of those things can inform your decisions. And
Fester.
yeah, and then, you know, that could be 1 day, 2, 3, 4 year of those unresolved things, and then, you know,
Now you're a different person.
yeah, you're a different person for real.
At that point, you're moving into
Yeah.
behaviors of like expecting and living in that environment and shit like that. That's why it's very key too.
Yeah. Who knows what, you know, like it can be completely, you know, you don't know what your life could be like, or who you, like he said, who you could be a year of going through that, not dealing with some of those things. And that's just the little things. There's other things, you know, there's other layers to you that may be going unresolved too, unchecked too. So
Yeah, it's good to meditate on that stuff too, because when, and I don't know about you, bro, but me personally, right? So I tend to like internally analyze a lot of shit, right? Like, is this something even worth bringing up? Is this something I should talk about? Is this, fuck it, you know, it's da-da-da, right? Sweep it to the left. You feel me? And we had talked about this earlier too. So you remember the thing where you don't want to come up with excuses for shit, but sometimes those aren't excuses. Those are things that are happening to you. You know what I mean? Like, and we'll break it down to you like this. For example, I didn't plan my day, so I was late feeding my dog, or I was late doing the dishes, something like that made me late to something else. And I get to that person like, oh, I had to feed my dog. That's an excuse because I had opportunity, ample enough time to do what I need to do. I just didn't do it when I was supposed to, right? If something if you encourage something, or something happens to you throughout the day, it's not necessarily something that is within your control. It's an environmental factor. You know, him cutting you off could be an environmental, like you couldn't control
that's
that.
out of my
motherfucker's
control.
drive.
I can't
You know what
control
I
how
mean?
he drives,
The
right.
person that pissed you off, or the girlfriend that, you know, said the wrong thing, your nigga that said the wrong thing, or a friend that just like you feel is our situation is like kind of inconsistent, or, you know, they showing a little bit of signs of faultiness and shit like that, right? If you don't, I guess, take that time to really analyze the situation and understand where it's coming from, if it's something that's within control. It was within our control for me to elaborate on my statement. fucked up wise, saying it by itself. This definitely can have an impact on a relationship. Like no understanding, no level of evaluation, just that statement. And what I mean by that is, bro, like, you know, I don't know if you're gonna be fully committed if we do this. You know what I'm saying? Like some context can change the game, right? But you only had what you had. That happened to you, so you're gonna react.
Yeah. So just
You know what I'm saying? It's not an excuse like, oh, well, you didn't give me details enough. Like, no, it was a reaction thing that happened to him, so he only can respond. You know what I mean? So be mindful of the environmental side, because things that shit just happens to people. Like, not everything goes as planned. And as entrepreneurs, bro, you came back from a whole bunch of shit just changing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Rapidly.
Yep.
And so in those times, bro, what would you say is like your most valuable next step, most important next step for you in those situations where like shit is spiraling almost, you know what I mean? And things are just happening one after another. You don't even have time to fucking react at this point. It's just things are just going down. And before you get into like, you know, months down the line where shit's like, hey man, nigga, let me holler at you, bro. Like now it's got there. We there. It's one of those situations like disrespecting each other, and you know what I'm saying? We let it get to that point. What are some things like I would say most important once you kind of catch, or what will help you catch that situation before it, you know, develops into like, you know, blows up later
Like
down the line?
within yourself? Or?
Yes, yeah. Just like kind of what tools do you use, or like what kind of skills do you think would be valuable to a person, really just to prevent themselves from becoming a different person, or just really misunderstandings turning into new understandings? You know what I'm saying? Like what is something that you think, because you sound like for you to be that emotionally intelligent to be like catch it and then be like, let me backtrack, you know what I mean? Like shit like that, right? What do you think we could use, you know, more of, or just use in those situations to help us kind of, you know, purify ourselves, or like clean that shit out and really reevaluate?
Sure. You know, a couple different things just kind of swirling around. I think the first thing is just just a foundational curiosity, and then you know, introspection. You know, some people just don't do it enough. You know, there are some.
Wait, before we go too far, curiosity, can you touch on that?
So like I think some people just aren't curious enough, you know, like some people just don't care to ask questions. Some people, you know, may have like a surge of curiosity and then not see it through, you know, and there's levels to it. You know, somebody may be curious enough to be like, they see something that they don't understand or don't immediately know about, and they ask, I wonder what that's about. And then don't go any further. Then there's some people that go a little bit further. Then there's some people that they're so curious about the thing that they devote their life to that topic. You know, so I think it comes with a certain level of curiosity.
Okay.
Because then in turn, you're going to be curious about the thing closest to you, which is yourself, you know. And then it just comes from an intuitiveness. And what I'm learning is, you know, there's types, you know, there's the sensation type and the intuitive type, and then those two types, you know, one tends to be more extroverted, and then one tends to be more introverted. And so extroverts, I think in my, you know, experience, aren't really that introspective, you know. Maybe they are, but not.
I can speak from a natural extrovert perspective, if you don't mind me touching in.
Yeah, go ahead, because that's, you know, you are an extrovert. Yeah.
I'm very let's action first sometimes, and then let's think about it after.
Yeah.
I've gotten to a point now in my development, however, where I start thinking things through, or kind of reevaluating the things that I want to do.
And that's not to say that it's not possible for an extrovert to become intuitive.
Yes.
That's not what I'm saying.
It's a skill set you can develop.
It's just a natural
But that's funny that you said that, because I was more like that. I'm more like, how do you explain it? Like, let's start a podcast. Let's do it. Like, right? I'm more willing to like, or more into like the, let's Columbus this bitch, like let's Christopher Columbus, let's explore, let's figure it out, let's get our hands, you know what I'm saying, active, best experience. and then that
Yeah,
can
and I'm
sometimes
like
get me in trouble.
sure,
Is,
sure.
is what you're kind of
If I'm
saying, like, right?
moving a little too fast, but you know, you asked like for skills, right? And
Yeah.
so I just think it's just spending some time with yourself in silence, you know, with as few distractions as you can manage, and then just, you know, sit with yourself and just, you know,
Meditation type, like, is that what you
yeah,
mean?
analyze your thoughts, knowing that your thoughts aren't you, and then, you know, because there's two distinct differences, you know, in your thoughts and thinking. Thoughts are involuntary, thinking is voluntary, you know. So like if you're thinking, that means the process of thinking is you ask yourself a question and then seek the answers inside you. You know?
Okay.
So that's you know, kind of my version of thinking. So that's what I recommend for you guys, you know.
So the action, so
Journaling.
proceeding by the action. So like you thinking something, and the action that precedes it is you actually going
Sure.
internal and
Sure.
working that
So to
thought.
give you guys, like just an easy thing to do is just recapping your day. At the end of the day, just recap your day, because that is an activity that encompasses all those things that I just talked about. You know, if you're not in practice of it, you know, for me, like I'm checking with myself damn near every hour. You know, 15 minutes to
Pulse check.
you know, I'm always in constant just, you know. But that's an activity you guys could do, you know, if you just want to like,
You
you
got
know,
me into that.
yeah,
The journaling, writing shit down.
yeah, and
I
just
didn't.
recapping your day, you know, like, well, why did I say this in that situation? And this isn't my method. This is something that I learned from Carl Jung.
From a book, I'm assuming.
Yeah, Carl Jung. I'm sure there's people who know who he is, but you know, he's the one of the founding contributors of psychoanalysis. He came up with the archetypes. So he was the one that coined the phrase introvert and extrovert. He came up
Oh,
with
he
that.
created that
He
shit.
created that
Oh shit.
back in like
What's his name?
Carl Jung.
Carl Jung.
Yeah,
Sounds
back
familiar.
in like 1930 or something. So he came up with the psychological types. And so he came up introvert, extrovert, sensation, and intuition types. And I'm just getting through his book now, but and I've been listening to some of his old interviews, but you know, he's an old figure. But yeah, so that's what I would recommend you guys do.
Okay.
And that's what I do, and it's super helpful. You
And
know?
and to touch, because I actually learned the journaling thing from him. Writing down stuff it helps you get things out. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you need to be able to like just get it out of your system, whether that's through speech. I prefer speech, but writing down also works too. So for me, I do video journaling, which is more of
Even
a,
better,
yeah,
honestly.
it's more of like talking to myself, or, you know, talking to God, whatever it may be, right? But it's really just looking at it from a camera perspective, and I can even review that shit later on. You almost can check your posture, like, you know what I'm saying, the mood or the feeling you had at the time. You can review that type of stuff. Sometimes when you write down, you can't really, you know, understand the mood unless it's tied to a thought or something like that. But the video journaling helps because I like to speak and get it out. Because I learned just like the last 2 years or so, really, as we break down, you know, as the society becomes more enclosed, people get closer through social media, YouTube, and you learn a lot more things a lot more rapidly. You also learn that your parents weren't always the best teachers when it came to certain things. And for me, mine never really you gave me the tool set of speaking about my emotions, how I felt. Because as most black kids, you know what I'm saying, you stay in a kid's place, you don't really have thoughts.
That's the
And that's a
typical line.
yeah, it's a broken
Stay out of grown folks' business.
stereotype, or not stereotype. It's a broken experience in my sense, because if you're taught or you learn throughout the entirety of your childhood that you don't have real thoughts, you don't have real opinions, you don't have a real voice or emotions, you carry that shit into adulthood. So for me, that's what I would always really just like push it to the side, is because I didn't think, like, who the fuck cares, right? So it's really what it comes down to. And sometimes motherfuckers really don't give a fuck.
Right.
But you feeling like who the fuck cares, that's off top, is really tough. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's not like a great sense to have, especially when it comes about yourself. And you have to realize too, you're going to be your first partner, your first counterpart, your internal spirit, whatever it may be. you're gonna have a lot of communication, a lot of things to tell that person, and you want to be able to hear at least yourself. So in those situations, don't think that just not saying shit makes it better. Just it's gonna go away, because that shit is cap. You know what I'm saying? It's cap as fuck. And understand too, when it comes to me and him, for example, even in situations where conversations get elevated, because we got elevated. You know what I'm saying? If we're being honest, we got elevated. It was a disagreement, but it was damn near an argument at that point, and we kind of realized that, okay, misunderstanding here. Okay,
Yep.
Is this what you mean here? Clarity here. Blah.
Yep.
We took the pieces of the fucking puzzle, put it together, and boom. Now we have a picture of what was going on. We still understand that we're still aligned a lot of ways. Because it hurt me when you said what you said too. Because I'm thinking like, damn. But at the same time, and what he said was more like, well, shit, I got partially involved into the Anime Kills thing because, you know, I felt that you were gonna like not fuck with me as a friend. I'm thinking like, damn, that felt bad.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be mad that he thought that either, because the fucking words that I used definitely sound like that's what it. There was nothing sub layer to it. So it was like, okay, bro, this does affect.
Right.
And I didn't give any context.
Right, but see, you know, and he seeded that, and I was like, yeah, you know what, I probably should have been like, hey, you know, what do you mean by that again?
Yeah.
You know, so like, it was just like on both our parts, you know, it was just a lack of communication.
We took it for face value and
Yeah,
a lack
that's what
of
we
clarity
did.
that we sought out.
But
Cause
that just goes to show you, you know, like, humans are bad at communicating.
yeah, even like
We're not
people that
good at
know
it.
each other, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
we're not good at it, you know? So like, things that go unsaid are like really the worst. You have to get it out there, because we're so bad at communicating. Even when we say things directly to each other on the phone,
Yo, if y'all
they
could
don't come out right.
if y'all could have seen this motherfucker's face when he had to say, he went from like, you know, posture here, he bounced back and then kind of like went into what you had to, bro. I was like, oh fuck, he's about to eat me alive for this shirt.
Critique the shirt.
It critiqued the shirt. It had nothing, absolutely zero to do with the shirt, and I was just like, hold on.
Like, wait a minute.
Hey, it's like
I have to change my frame of mind
it's
now,
like
because I was expecting something completely different.
yo, it's
what?
like getting into a boxing match, bro, and that shit you thinking is sweet, we good. It's like, and it had nothing to do with it, and you coming against a Mike Tyson type of player where this nigga's I was sitting there thinking like, oh shit, hold on. I took 3 hooks. Okay,
Like
let me stand up, fam.
Yeah, it's
so
like
hold
you're a
on.
boxer.
I had to tell him to hold on. He was beating my ass, but it was necessary because he had to get it out, right?
Yeah.
And he didn't do so in a disrespectful manner. Let's be very clear. You have all rights to your feelings. You have all rights to your words, but the moment you do it in a disrespectful manner, it will definitely fucking take it there. He didn't do so in a disrespectful manner. He presented it more like a situation like, this is something I want to talk about, and this is why I want to talk about it, because you said this here, you said this there. Like, man, we need to figure that shit out. And I was like, okay, wasn't expecting it, but if this nigga was like, look, bro, like, the shit you said the other day pissed me off, and that, like, it could have went left. You know what I mean? You have to understand how you get involved in shit like that. And I think you're pretty emotionally intelligent, so you don't.
Yeah, and you know, cause like here's the, you know, the thing about it is like, you know, in those moments, I mean, you're gonna revert back to how you usually handle situations too. Like let's just be
Good fucking point.
Let's just be, you know, that's like the first, you know, like the hurt child is gonna come out
Yes.
first, you know.
I was just thinking about that. You're the kid in you.
The kid in you is gonna come out first,
He
and
said
so
you're right, that's
so
smart.
you have to manage. You have to manage giving that hurt kid a voice, and then not being disrespectful too, because and staying calm, and you know, like it's truly like a, you know what I'm saying, like an elegant sword fight, you know, like one false step can
Yes.
cost you, you know, in the fight.
Because
you know?
you're
If
in
your technique ain't perfect here or there.
Because when you're in the fight, you know what I'm saying. Everybody got a plan until they get hit in the mouth.
Right.
You're not gonna expect certain things to be said. You're not gonna expect you to say certain things, but it's really about the counterpart. If this was me and him a year ago, it probably would have been an argument, just pure argument, right? Maybe even longer than a year ago, maybe. But it would have been a pure argument because we wouldn't have heard each other. I'll say 2 to 3 years ago, before we had the understanding of what we do now.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have heard anything that each other had to say. Everything would have been defensive, deflection, da 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 da. And we almost started to go there. And then
Yeah, you're gonna toe that line.
yeah, it was like he said that old you was coming out, right? That old me was coming out, and we was almost about to go there with the shit because I was getting hella defensive. Like I could feel it. I'm like, what the fuck is he talking? Niggas just say this. Like what the? I'm like, nigga, do you know me? Like, come on, bro. You know I'm not like that.
Right.
But on his experience is completely fucking different than mine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your experience was so different than mine, and then
and
I didn't give you nothing. Yeah, your experience was different than mine, so I couldn't be mad that like you was thinking this shit, but I was pissed that you was thinking it.
And naturally, you know, and I was pissed, you know, because like yesterday, like it happened when you said the thing, I was like, what the hell?
And so give y'all, we can
sense.
tell them a little bit of context. We gave them the first context, right?
Yeah,
I told
yeah,
you like that would, and my meaning behind it was just really more so on the side of like, you know, I can't count on him to, you know, his yes be a yes, flip flop type shit, right?
That's
and
what he meant.
That's what I
he
meant
said it's gonna
when I
affect the
said it.
relationship.
Yeah. I'm gonna think
on the
as
first
you
initial call back when we were discussing.
Yeah.
Like this was the infancy of anime kills, like no designs, no nothing, et cetera, et cetera.
And then
flash forward to yesterday's
call was about a whole different business model,
Right,
whole
right.
different business thing. I brought something to him, and so it wasn't really aligned with your personality. It wasn't his thing.
Right.
Is how you put it, right?
Exactly.
And you had valid reasons. So I'm like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? This ain't no love lost, bro. Like, I do plan on still doing it. And, you know, I understand that this isn't your personality, isn't aligned. We can still do our real estate side of this.
Right. And then you went on to say, it's not going to affect our relationship. And then I was just like,
ding, this motherfucker.
no
so
way
like,
did he just say
like
that, bro?
nothing lit up in my head, by the way. Absolutely nothing. But
Yeah.
I did, once he reminded me of the conversation, I do recall it.
Yep.
But I was like, but I didn't mean, like, what do you think I meant by that shit?
Yeah.
And so when he told me, he's like, well, yeah, so it seems a little bit selfish, you know what I'm saying, if the shit aligns. I'm like, oh, the nigga called me selfish. I was like, oh, this motherfucker's tripping. I'm like, how is this selfish bringing you a business? So I wanted to go there, right? But I'm like, wait, what? So, because I said this shit, okay.
And then he was like, no, I got you.
Listen,
I got you.
you gotta get
I know
centered.
exactly what you're talking about.
I know exactly what you mean.
That's not what I meant at all.
What the
Let
fuck
me
I
explain
meant.
what I meant.
Hold up.
Yeah. And I was like, damn, because then I was charged up myself. And I was like, damn, that's what he meant. I was thinking to myself like, damn, that's what he meant.
Man.
Huh?
He says,
and I was like, no, I know how you said it, bro. Tone matters. Da, 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 da. You know what I'm saying? Trying to feel like
I'm sitting here like this, like holding on for dear life.
You know?
Trying to explain I'm like, bro, I'm trying to tell you. He's
now,
like,
this is an over-exaggerated reenactment, but like in the moment we were just like, nah,
no,
bro,
it was. How about this? It's an over-exaggerated physical, but internally, this is what.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
This is what it felt like,
Yeah,
for real,
good
for real.
point. Good
You know what I mean?
point.
Because like most people think like, I just lifted 225. Internally, that shit made you feel like a god. Like, you know what I mean? So it's it's internally what I was feeling. I was like, I'm stumbling. This nigga, bap, 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 like this, that. No, fuck that. You definitely meant to because I remember the tone.
Yeah, he got me too.
He was charged up, and I'm like, ho. Like,
And then
I
he
know.
got me too because he brought up the fact that he was, and I was like, hey, you know what? I can only respect that because he was like, well, you said you would, you know, and that was your word, and I was like,
So that's
I did say that. That was my word.
And you know, it just took like a few of those clarifications to really just like sink it in, you know, lock in.
Yeah.
But if the other party is not willing to hear it, because to be honest with you, we interjected each other. It wasn't the most like sexy conversation, like, bro, we interjected each other a couple times. You got charged up, I got charged up, blah blah blah, right? But it shows like, you know. And, you know, shout out to our friendship, bro. Like we still were able to have the conversation.
And like I mentioned earlier, the key was like, listen, man, because we've had conversations like this before, and we know that it only works if we give each other the space to speak.
We had to
so
step
it's
back.
Like, all right, man, I'm gonna give him that respect, and I know he's gonna give it to me in return. And so it was like,
we got
naturally
charged up
too. And then we just
we
we
de-escalated each other
because it resolved.
Yes.
You know, we resolved it, and so, you know, like there has to be. Even, and you could even take this to like relationship with friends, girlfriend, boyfriend, like
any relationship.
as long as both parties are interested in continuing on, then the heated arguments are necessary because it removes a barrier that you have with each other, and now you're able to address more uncomfortable things and form a deeper relationship.
Yeah.
But there has to be, it's like, all right, look, you know, a mutual
Common
the hell?
stake. Common stake.
There has to be a mutual, like, yeah, bro, no, listen,
Stake
we
in
just
the
need
relationship,
to,
yeah.
we're gonna continue the relationship after this. It's not
Yeah.
like a, you know. So I think that's
That is
something
definitely a
to-
key.
That's really key.
That's
you know?
key. That's key for sure.
And then if you're not, if you're on the, you know, if you're like, hey, look, I'm just ready to end this, then, I mean, that's a different conversation. You know, different outcome, but I still think even in that moment, you know, you still have to. I think it even becomes even more important in that point, in that case. Wouldn't you agree?
Alignment. Yeah.
Yeah, because
facts.
it's like, you know, if you're gonna end the relationship, then everything really does need to come out. Like, it's all
let's handle all the shit we need to, because if
Right.
not, it's like it's like all your cards on the table situation, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And at that point, I think that hold on. Like I caught what you meant. I caught what you were saying. Pause. That's not what the fuck I meant. I get why you think that though, because just hearing the words raw, fuck, that is
Yeah.
fucked up to say.
Right.
And I didn't even think you took it that, or not took it that. I didn't think you felt any type of way when I said it. You know what I mean? And he did, but
Right.
I'm like, damn, I didn't even know like you felt. But that was I'm known for saying insensitive shit sometimes, right? I'm for real, like because I say what comes out. Like
Yep.
sometimes I'm not analytical about it, right?
Yep.
Sometimes it just comes and it says,
There-
you know what I mean?
there's the extra version.
I didn't say it to be mean. I didn't say it to disrespect him. I didn't say it to da. But
Right.
he don't know that shit. We just now getting back in this
and that's what we
situation.
talked about too.
The
I was
throws
like,
and
well,
shit.
I didn't know what you know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
But when that happened, bro, we took it and started like really. You let me speak. It started de-escalating. Okay. You was charged about the whole like, nah, nigga, I heard your tone. Your tone was very clear, bro. And I'm like, I was excited. You know what I mean? I'm like that. But hear me out, fam. I'm telling you, eye to eye. This nigga, level setting with you right now on God's green earth. This is exactly what I meant when I said it. Yeah. But if you ain't got none of those like actual clarities behind what you say, you just saying shit.
And for this situation specifically, like it based off of what he said, and then our lack of clarification. Like I mentioned earlier with the getting cut off in traffic example, how it informs your decisions subsequently. It was informing some of my decisions subsequently because I was like, oh, well, you know, he's got a selfish streak. You know what I'm saying?
Bro,
So,
I was heartbroken when you said this shit. I ain't gonna cap, because like for me personally, I was thinking I was doing the complete opposite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know.
I was like, damn, selfish.
And
nigga?
I noticed when I said that, and you were just like,
nigga,
what, bro?
the fuck?
Yeah.
I was hella
think that's when you
deflated.
got most charged up. You were just like
hold
what,
the
bro?
fuck up.
And then I was like, okay.
But my reaction was authentic.
Okay.
Like, bro, I was not expecting this nigga to say that shit. And I'm thinking, okay, damn. So it's all about getting clarity. And the thing I like too about us is, like, it's serious, but it's never that serious, right? Like, for us, like, we could just be at that point where it's like, you know what? This isn't something that really we need to be putting value into.
Right.
Let's do this then. Let's do something. It's like, you know, like kids, like niggas, most grown men is like kids, bro. I seen this in a lot of posts too. Like, we never really grow up or grow out of certain things. We still watch cartoons. You know what I'm saying? We still eat cereal.
Still into the things.
Still into like the little
electronics and toys and stuff like that.
You know, playing gadgets and shit, video games. We don't really ever grow up in those certain capacities. But
and we shouldn't.
And we shouldn't, right? But at the same time, as far as your ability to like emotionally discharge some shit, you know what I mean? That don't really, like, you know, when as a kid, when when shit was getting too like frustrating, you said fuck this and go play with something else. Bro, this toy, go play with something else. I remember this fucking
video game mostly, like,
bro. I remember this vividly.
Come back on this one.
I remember this video or this toy I got from Radio Shack when my pops. Excuse me. My pops used to wear Radio Shack back in the day, right? Bro, I was trying to put this radio together. Bro, this shit got so complicated. You got started here. I'm like, man, fuck this toy. I'm about to go outside and play, right? Like, or I'm about to go play this Mario Kart video game, something like that. You just have to understand. You just need something productive or positive at that time to reset you. You know what I mean? Whatever that is for us, if it ain't this business, it's gonna be this business. Ain't this business, it's gonna be this conversation. Ain't this conversation, it's gonna be bonding over anime. You know what I'm saying? You just need those things because, to be honest, like in any line of communication, line of business, there's gonna be disruptions in this shit.
Yeah.
Really.
It's just not gonna flow as smooth as you know.
Speaking of anime, bro, you caught up on any? I know you've been inundated like a motherfucker.
I caught up. Oh yeah, I caught up with Demon Slayer,
Yeah.
obviously, and then I caught up with My Hero as far as.
What was the last episode that I watched?
It was
It's
who's
the 7th
racing?
season, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They had just. Okay, so they brought Midoriya to the floating prison.
Okay.
They got him back there finally, duking it out with what's his name again?
Oh shit. Tadagiri? No, not Tadagiri.
Todoroki or no,
No.
that's the other kid. Saw the fight with Dabi. That
Oh,
was
it's all for one mixed with
yeah, but who's the other guy? Shigaraki. Shigaraki. Okay, so saw that crazy exchange. Saw the ending of the battle with but then he got reignited.
Turned up again.
He got reignited, had the star thing. He beat him, didn't he?
Nah. It's still ongoing.
It's still raging.
It's still
Okay,
ongoing.
okay, still
Yeah.
raging.
So
So
you're
I'm
pretty
at
much
that
towards
point.
the point of the we are almost caught up pretty much.
I'm almost caught up, and then at the point where old girl with the gun in the elbow.
Oh yes, you're pretty much at the almost there.
I'm
Like
almost
you're
there.
pretty much there.
Yeah,
At that,
yeah,
I'm at
yeah.
the same point because I'm
Yeah.
caught up, but that's like episode.
Those were epic.
Bro,
Those were
it's
epic
getting
episodes,
critical.
man.
Getting
I mean,
very
you were
critical.
you're just.
And you still, bro,
entrenched in the
Kaiju
episode.
number 8.
Oh yeah, I do need
It's
to
an
tap into that one.
12 episode. It's a quick one.
It's still one season.
One season.
Okay, I'm waiting for Solo Leveling to come back out.
Oh, bro, I've been waiting for that motherfucker.
I'm so
too.
hyped about that show.
They got to give us, and people complain about it. It's slow. They're giving you a little build up, but I think that's the whole point of these
But
level
I mean,
ups.
it got crazy,
Yeah,
but it had some good action in that first season.
I liked
though.
it. I like their version of the level up vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not,
He's progressing.
Yeah.
Like he's actually progressing, and
and they bring it from actual like another world from that world into their like to reality. I like
Yeah.
how they reversed it. You know what I mean?
I like the whole premise of that show.
Yeah, because usually it's the opposite. They fly into a dungeon world or the world exists. The dungeon world's intruding on their world, so it's kind of
Yeah.
like I like how
pretty
that play
cool.
is.
It's
yeah.
pretty cool. I like the whole premise of that show where they're doing it for money and
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? He's
it's
like
a job and shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like the whole premise of the
yes.
show.
Kaiju, so Kaiju is like it's very aligned, bro.
Is it? Okay.
Very aligned.
I've
You
heard
would fuck
nothing but
with
good
it.
things about
You would
Kaiju.
fuck the action, love it, and then premise of it, like I said, how they always with the underdog, the most like the oldest motherfucker on the fleet type dude, ain't got no talent, come through slacking it. But he
That's
has
dope.
he has strategic talent too though, like things you wouldn't expect.
Yeah,
This is
he's
one-
like, yeah,
This is one new one that I started watching called I Parry Everything. I thought the name was stupid as fuck.
no,
bro.
that's hard. I parry
I
everything.
parry
blocks
everything,
Let's
bro.
go.
And then
Let's
I'm
go.
getting into it. The way they build these characters, fam, it's always interesting. So they have the guy that just been living on this far off land with his parents for like years. He doesn't know about the outside world, so he's very ignorant. He's very doesn't have street smarts. Put two and two together. So he's like been training to become an adventurer. He tried to become an adventurer. He fails all the courses to do it. So he then it's like, fuck it, I'm
Almost
not
like
worth
Hunter
it.
x Hunter.
But being that he failed all the courses, he can't qualify to be an adventurer. But he started saying, fuck it, I'm gonna practice. I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna keep practicing skill until I level up to another skill. Never levels up. Just practice skill, gets stronger within that skill. The skill gets so strong, bro, that it makes up for all of his defects.
What skill is it?
It's parrying. Like, that's it. I parry everything, bro. It's in the name. Nigga
Nice.
parries every fucking thing. And so, like, that's his strength in doing so.
He's got dumb defense. His
Dumb
is
defense.
just
And
crazy.
so his defense is so strong, it's almost an offense type shit. You know what I mean? One of
he
those.
overbuilt it.
And,
It's over,
and his ignorance is crazy. Like, everybody sees him as such a strong person. Like, who the fuck is this dude? And he's like, oh, man, I suck. I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't mean to do that. And then the chick's trying to learn from him, bro.
Yeah.
The whole time in his head, like, he does the in-head monologues and shit, right? Why does she want to learn from me? Like, wait till I show her the skill. She's going to laugh and run away type shit. He shows her the most rudimentary skill, but
takes her to a whole new level.
for her, no. The rudimentary skill, right, is definitely rudimentary, but he does it so exceptionally well
Yeah.
that she seen the same thing done by an expert,
Uh-huh.
and it was a lot smaller. So
Yeah.
she thinks this nigga's like OP.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So
Okay.
it's
I gotta
like-
watch that.
So
I
she's
gotta.
like, oh my God, he must be on a whole nother level.
Ah,
if he can do that, I'm like, this shit is funny as
I
fuck.
love it.
So it kind of drew me in. I like it though.
I like that.
It's
I
just
like
the
that. I
name.
like
Like, don't judge a motherfucker by the name, bro.
I
Sometimes
like the
them
name,
names
honestly.
be long
I
and
parry everything. I like
parry
it.
everything, bro.
I like
Just
it.
like the I got reincarnated as the long ass name for slime. I was about to write that shit off, but it actually didn't be good. Last season, I'm not too happy with. It's more of those like slow pace ones.
Okay. Okay. Shoot. Other than that, man, I think that's it. I mean, some non-anime stuff. I mean, just can't wait for that new season of Fallout to come out.
Oh, that was
season-
good, huh? It was a binger.
Oh my God,
Try
bro!
to get down on this one.
I watched every episode in one night. I think it was 8 episodes.
Amazon
same
Prime?
night. Huh?
Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime. That was the same night I went to that peach cobbler spot down the street.
Oh, you busted that bitch open and flew through it, huh? It was
Sure did.
real well written.
It
W's
was, bro.
W's back to back always fuck me up.
Yes. And the action, the characters, like everything, it was cool,
Yeah.
man. It was just.
I'm glad they didn't make it like it's because it was actually rated R. So I'm glad they didn't make it PG-13 like they did the Border.
I know,
Have you seen
man.
Borderlands?
They got a Borderlands show?
Bro, no movie. Trash. They
Oh,
made
it's trash.
a mature video game into a PG-13 movie. Bro, everybody rated that shit low.
Come on.
Terrible.
man.
And I watched it, I'm like, this shit is so terrible.
It's like, come on.
Because it's all about gore, dystopia, blah, blah, blah. And they turned it into a PG-13 like snooze fest, bro. And the acting was, it had some hitters in there, but the acting wasn't that great.
I mean, the only thing I could say about that is did the director not have any sense of the game? Did he?
That's what everybody said, bro. A lot of the reviews, it's like who put this together? Did they not understand how the game is? Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense. Who's your audience? Your audience is the people that play the game.
play the game.
The people that play the game love the game because of the way the game was, and y'all
This
did
is
it
so
like
crazy.
a docile version of it. They said this shit was the dumbest shit ever.
It's just so
It got,
crazy.
it got rated like 4.7, I think. 4.7 out of 10.
Man, I don't understand when
Bro.
directors do that, bro.
It
Like,
doesn't make no sense.
The reason why the show is even popular is because there is a certain fan base. The reason why they like it is the reason why everyone else is gonna like it too. Like, it's not unique to them. Like, yes, you have an audience. Extrapolate it out. There's many other people.
That's what I feel like we're doing with Kills, AKZ, bro.
Oh,
Because it's like we're niching down. Is it niche or niche?
same thing.
Niche. We're
Either
niching
way.
down to one ourselves, and then we're broadening it from there to like other anime lovers.
Well, that's the comment that I made with the 2 Ts that we just reviewed today, the Art is You and the Gayuto. It's like, okay, now we're blending the lines here. Now we're like,
we're playing with some shit.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And it feels a lot different than what I was initially planning. A whole fucking lot different.
yeah, because I
I
think
just
at
pretty much
first-
was merch. It was
Well, and I think at first you were just so anime focused.
Yeah,
And
very-
I think you were
that's all I cared about. It
And I
was
think you didn't want to get away from that, until
we
you
had
know,
that
like-
conversation.
Yeah, you
actually
started-
a couple conversations.
But then you started explaining. I'm just like, man, now it's a line.
Yeah,
Now
right.
Now it's a line.
And that's my goal too. Like I was saying, when I first got the joints, like I loved them, but when we got into it, looking and reviewing them, we styled the motherfuckers. Look, that shit was lit. I was hella juiced.
It's just fun.
Because when you get the reaction that you wanted, you was like, oh, that's not normally typically your style.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I know.
And for you to react that way was
But
more
see, because I
fulfilling.
can put myself in other people's shoes and see it for what it is. It's like,
Yeah.
nah, like that's dope.
Yeah.
It's just a nice piece of clothing, like from the design to the fabric to how it feels, to how it drapes, like how you were able to envision something and then bring it out. It's
Yo,
like,
we're
man,
very excited about. We got to get all these
Yeah.
samples in, all these collections. What do you call it? Curated before we
Yep.
finally start moving forward. Because what you don't realize too is that a business, especially when it comes to clothing, it's a long process to get to the point where just you can get a sample of something. So that's why a lot of people design seasons out. We didn't really do that. We just went head into it.
Yep.
With the first launch, not even thinking that we were so worried about getting started, we weren't even thinking like stage 2.
Yeah, the speed. We were
Yeah,
trying to get,
we just wanted to get something
it off
out,
the
kind of see how
ground.
it felt.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think with these ones, like we're going from like the initial t-shirts embossed, like those are fire. We still get love on those, but we elevating. We're getting a little bit more premium with it. We're making sure that certain features are insinuated. Certain features, like just the feel of that. These motherfuckers feel like butter. The best shirts I've ever put on, hands down.
Yeah.
Like fabric
I mean,
wise, for
fabric,
sure.
Fabric, everything.
And then we definitely.
To how it even looks, you know, it just, I
Yeah.
mean, it just looks like.
Like nobody's selling these shirts, bro. Unless
Yeah.
you go to like most people that have brands right now are using the same silhouettes as everybody else, selling them, and just putting like a graphic on it and things like that. I want to be able to do graphic tees, 100%. Love them, fuck with them heavy, da da da, right? But I also want to give some texture to the motherfuckers, like just a little subtle
you
tweak
know?
here, and we got some dope ass ideas. with
Yeah,
it,
because
bruh.
you could either choose to do it and take the longer path, gain the necessary skills to actually put out something great, or you could just do like a flash, you know, like frying an egg in a pan. You know what I'm saying? We're kind
something
of
quick.
yeah,
quick and easy.
You know, we're cooking a Thanksgiving turkey, so it's gonna take a little bit longer. You
I
know?
like how you put that.
And,
And we cooking.
and it
some
really
shit up.
shows. Like, you know, honestly, it really shows. I mean, like I was telling him, he's got a clothing rack in his living room where all of the samples are, and I was like, man, I'll tell you what, if I was shopping and this was a boutique and I saw that shirt, I'd be like, man, this is, you know, it's just a nice shirt, because you look at it and then just kind of it evolves before your eyes. You're noticing little different the little details of the shirt, and you're feeling it, and you know, seeing you know, where a lot of the thought came from and the inspiration.
The
And so it
features
just-
and shit, like,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah. It just
That's
you
what
know,
the
it all
goal
just
is gonna
works,
be.
You know, it all
Anime
just
Kills,
works.
it's gonna be so much more than what like it is right now, just in the sense of like sister brands, premium quality, like Letterman jackets, leather pieces. You know what I'm saying? Button ups, like I want to go all the way there with it. But I'm learning to not go too far down the rabbit hole, because it gets fucking expensive.
Yeah.
Fucking expensive. And we don't want to, you know, bite off too much capital than what we need to. The main goal right now is to get us draped in our own shit, and then, you know, start, you know, getting some buzz around that shit right now.
Yep,
But
yep.
definitely happy where it's going, man.
Yep.
But we appreciate y'all tapping in. It was a good convo, really good convo.
As always,
Call it a post conversation.
summarizing it just like we got to do with Leslie.
Yeah. Yo, the skill set's been built, bro. We're building the skill set. Because you got to do this with these manufacturers, bro. They don't get you. But it's the same thing. Like you said, communication is like literally there's different languages. You know what I'm saying? It's the biggest barrier in human society.
No doubt.
Being able to conquer that, now let's not say conquer, being able to traverse something as complex as it, in the best, you know what I'm saying, form and fashion you can, is really, really fucking beneficial to me personally. You know what I'm saying? I'm a better person for it. And
For sure.
yeah, I think we better, you know what I'm saying, people's
man.
for having a conversation. You know
There's
what I
no
mean?
question about it.
So get out there and talk to your people.
Have the
Let
tough
them know.
conversation.
Let them know what's on your heart.
And if you guys didn't get anything from it,
Shit, we did.
we did.
Appreciate y'all.
Peace.